Lessons that aligned me growing through what I lived. You are listening to Empower Mind Talk, navigating mental health, strength, and belonging. And let me tell you something, this is a real soul talk. I am your host, Maureen, a life and purpose coach, mental health advocate, Asia coach, author, and a fellow traveler on this winding path of healing, identity, and homecoming. Welcome back, dear souls, to Empower Mind Talk. This is our space to slow down, to reflect, to grow, and to remember something that's easy to forget when life gets loud. Your journey isn't random. It's not meaningless. And it is not just a series of things that happened to you. In the previous episode, I opened up and shared the depth of my story. And today, I want to go even deeper and not into, let me say, the details of what happened, but into what it has been teaching me, the lessons, the quiet wisdom that life has been placing on my hands, sometimes gently and sometimes through moments that nearly broke me. So, whenever you are right now, let these be a soft landing. In that case, let this be a moment where you don't have to perform strength. You just get to listen, and maybe as I share what I have learned, you will hear your own life speaking back to you. There comes a moment in every healing journey, every growth journey, when something shifts. You stop staring only at what happened and you start asking a different question. Not just why did this happen? And not only why was it so hard, but what was this shaping in me? Because life doesn't only move you forward, life forms you. And if you just happen to understand that everything that happens in you or in me, it's a form of us just being formed by life. It builds you, it refines you. And when you finally pause long enough to reflect, you realize something powerful. So much of what you thought was wasted time or wasted pain or wasted effort wasn't wasted at all. One of the first lessons that became clear to me is this. What used to feel like limitation was often actually preparation. Think about that for a second. The season where you felt stuck, the stretch where nothing seemed to work, the days where you wondered if you were failing or falling behind everyone else, those moments didn't feel like progress at all. They felt like delay. They felt like actually you're not moving forward in any ways. They felt like being held back. But looking back, I can see it more clearly today. Those were the moments that built in me what is never could. Strength, that isn't just a word. Resilient, that isn't just theoretical. Courage, that didn't come from motivational quotes. Not to say that motivational quotes are wrong, but just a deeper form of motivation, but from maybe lived experiences that actually makes the motivational aspect of it more deeper. Sometimes life trains you in the dark so you can carry that what you are meant to carry in the light. Another lesson that aligned me was learning that you don't always need clarity to continue. This was big because when you see that dark or when you see the fog, you don't see any clarity in front of you, but still, you don't actually need the clarity to continue. We are taught that we should always know the plan. You should have everything planned, which is not wrong. I'm not saying that planning something is wrong. That we should have the timeline mapped out, which is also correct. That we should wait until we feel confident, certain, ready. But real growth, and that's for sure, often doesn't work like that. Sometimes growth look like waking up or waking up in the morning with unanswered questions and still taking the next step. It looks like doing the best you can with the information you have. It looks like continuing not because it's easy, but because something in you refuses to give up. And that decision, that quiet decision right there, can become a turning point in your life. Not a dramatic moment with fireworks or something like that. More like a small inner soft shift where you realize, I may not know everything today or right now, but I am not stopping here. I am still moving myself to the next step. Then there are these lessons that come through challenges. For example, identity gets revealed under pressure, for sure. When you are under pressure, that's when you get to know who you are and how your paradigms have shaped who you are. There are moments in life where you are confronted with who the world thinks you are, people's assumptions about who you are, their labels, their expectations, their projections of who you are or who you are even allowed to be. And in those moments, you have or you are given a choice. You can shrink yourself to fit what's comfortable for everyone else, or you can define yourself in their presence and tell them who you really are. You can decide who you are, or you can tell them who they should take you to be, even if it disappoints someone. So that's what I'm always like, okay, tell them who you are. And of course, in that case, it will be disappointment in their eyes because they are used to somebody else of you or some picture of you that you're trying to change in that moment. And even if it confuses them, even if it requires you to stand alone for a while, do that, because in that way you're helping them to learn to teach you how you have learned to teach yourself with respect and all that you need in your becoming. Challenges don't only test you, they reveal you. They bring you face to face with your truth. And sometimes that truth is this: I have been living for approval, or I have been trying to be who everyone needs me to be, and not even who I need myself to be, or even I forgot what I need because I have been surviving for so long. But the moment you start choosing your truth, and mark this, your truth. I'm talking of the truth that you know by yourself, not the truth that someone else is telling you. The time or the moment you start choosing that truth, little by little, something begins to align. Now, let's talk about adaptation because this is a big one. Yes, we learn to adapt. We learn to read the room. We learn how to navigate spaces that weren't built with us in mind. We learn how to meet expectations, how to adjust, how to survive. But alignment begins when you stop disappearing in the process of adapting. Read that. I'll just repeat that again. Alignment begins when you stop disappearing in the process of adjustment. There is a kind of growth that looks like compromise, but feels like like self erasure, like you erasing yourself in the process and compromising just a lot of yourself to fit in. And you can tell the difference because one expands you and the other drains you. The lesson for me was learning to say, I can grow without losing who I am. I can evolve without abandoning myself. I can learn new skills, step into new rooms, and still stay rooted in my values, my voice, and my spirit. Because what's the point of building a life that looks good on the outside if it feels or if you feel lost inside of it? Another lesson came through responsibility. And if you have ever carried something heavy, you know these one in your bones. Definitely, it goes really deeper. Some of our deepest growth come from roles we didn't choose easily, responsibilities we didn't feel ready for, people we had to show up for, moments that required more from us than we thought we had. Responsibility stretches you, love stretches you, commitment stretches you, and in that stretching, you discover strength you didn't even know you carried. Not the kind of strength that's loud, but the kind of strength that's steady, the kind that keeps you going, the kind that holds things together when no one is clapping, when no one is noticing, when you are doing it because it matters. And then there is timing. Timing, timing, timing. If there is one thing life will humble you with, it's timing. Not everything happens when you want it to. Sometimes, or some doors don't open on your timeline. Some paths don't reveal themselves quickly. Some dreams take longer than you expected. Some healing takes patience you don't or you didn't know you'd need. But one of the most freeing lessons I have learned in these is delay is not denial. Chill. Sometimes what feels like nothing is happening is actually alignment happening behind the scenes. Sometimes or something is being arranged, something is being prepared in that case or in that sense. Sometimes you are being prepared yourself to move in that next step that you planned for yourself. And sometimes it might be hard because waiting can feel like rejection. Yes, no one likes to just sit there and wait or just let life happen. Silence can feel like it's a failure, but often it's just life saying not yet. And not yet doesn't mean no. Not because you are not worthy, because the timing still matters. And here is another truth. That really surprised me. Sometimes every challenge or every changes or everything that changes, let me say, because of one opportunity. And normally we always think like, I have a plan and that is the timeline that I planned for myself. But one single thing can change, and that could be the opportunity that needed to change beside the timeline and the plans that I had for that next step to happen. One moment, one yes, one chance, one door that finally then opens. But those moments don't usually come out of nowhere. They meet you at the intersection of preparation and persistence. They meet you after you have kept going. So that's why you shouldn't stop, and you should not say, okay, I'm giving up because I think the timeline has not kept up with me. You should keep on preparing, because that's actually preparation. And by you staying persistent, this thing then meet you after you have kept on going and never given up. After you have learned, after you have grown, after you have gotten back up again and again. So, if you have, or if you are in a season where you feel like something or actually nothing is happening, I want you to remember you may be closer than you think. Sometimes the next chapter is one moment away from the moment you are currently. And along the way, I also had to define what success mean to me, because success is not only what you achieve. It's not only the milestones, the titles, the money, the recognition. Yes, those things can matter and do matter, but they aren't the whole story. Success is also who you become, and that's the bigger part of success for me. It's your healing, it's your self-awareness, it's the way you learn to respond instead of reacting. It's the boundaries you finally hold. It's the peace you protect. It's the way you stop abandoning yourself. If you or your life looks like impressive, but your spirit feels exhausted, that's not success for me. Or like I said, that's not how I would define success. And if your life is still coming together, but your inner world is becoming healthier, softer, clearer, that counts, and really that matters more. That is success too, and we should learn to appreciate that success as well. And then there is a lesson that turns pain into purpose, and this is actually who made me become who I am. What you go through is not only for you, not in the sense that you should justify suffering or pretend pain is a gift while you are still bleeding. No, but in the sense that with time, with healing, with reflection, you begin to see meaning in that what happened. Your story becomes medicine. Your experience becomes insight. What you have survived becomes a light for someone else. There is something in your journey that can support, uplift, and guide others. And maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe you are still in the middle of it. Don't worry. Hold on to that moment, because I want you to hold still onto that, and don't forget that your story carries purpose. It's you to define that purpose for yourself after your healing, or even in the process. Try to see what could be that big picture out of your story that could lead to your purpose. Another lesson that I can't ignore is the power of being seen. Growth doesn't happen in isolation. People don't flourish when they feel invisible. We grow when we feel seen, heard, and supported. And maybe one of the most life-challenging lessons in this is be that space. Be that space for yourself and for others. Be the kind of person who doesn't rush your healing. Be the kind of person who listens to your own needs. Be the kind of person who speaks to yourself with compassion, not with punishment. And when you can, offer that kind of passion to others too, then make that a safe space, a safe place, a kind word. Give it to someone, a moment of understanding. Give it to someone, because you never know how much someone needs to feel less alone in that moment. So be that person to feel that moment for the other person. All of this brings me to a shift that changes everything. Perspective. There is a huge difference between living life from a question, or from the question, why is this happening to me? And living life from the question, what is this teaching me? I will repeat that. There is a huge difference between life or living life from the question, why is this happening to me? And living life from the question, what is this teaching me? The first question often keeps you stuck in resistance. The second opens the door to growth. And I know sometimes asking, what is this teaching me, can feel impossible, especially when something is fresh, when it's painful, when you are still trying to survive it. And it's okay if you are not there yet. But when you are ready, with time, even just a little, that question becomes a key. It unlocks meaning. It helps you take your power back. It helps you move forward without denying what you've been going through, because alignment isn't a single moment where you suddenly arrive and everything makes sense. No, alignment is a process. You don't suddenly discover your purpose like it drops from the sky fully formed. No, you grow into it through experience, through challenges, through rejection, through reflection, through step by step that you get to be learning and being taught, through lesson by lesson that life teaches you. And sometimes you only understand a season after you have walked through it. Sometimes the clarity comes later. Sometimes the lesson reveals itself slowly, and allow that to happen. So if you are reflecting on your own journey right now, I want to invite you to pause for a moment, take a breath, and ask yourself gently, what have my experiences been teaching me? Not what should I have done differently, not what's wrong with me, not why am I not further ahead, but what has life been forming in me? What has this season been trying to show me? And if the answers doesn't come immediately, that's okay. Not everything needs to make sense right away. Trust that meaning. Trust the process. Trust that meaning is also unfolding, even if you can't name it yet. Before we close, I want to leave you with 3 anchoring truths, simple but powerful. Number 1, nothing you have lived through is wasted, even the parts that hurt, even the parts you wish you could erase. It is shaping who you are becoming. Number 2, you are allowed to grow through your experiences without being defined by them. Your past can inform you, teach you, and strengthen you, but it doesn't or does not get to limit you. Number 3, alignment happens over time. Trust your path, even when it feels uncertain, even when you can't see the whole picture, even when you are taking one small step at a time. And now I have an affirmation for you for today. Say softly to yourself, in your own way, at your own pace. I honor the lessons in my journey. I trust what is unfolding within me. I am growing into alignment with my purpose. If you took this moment to reflect with me, thank you. Thank you for your openness. Thank you for your willingness to look at your journey with new eyes. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it today. Subscribe to Empower Mind Talk and keep walking with me. And remember this, always, nothing you have lived through is meaningless. You are evolving, you are aligning, you are becoming. Until next time, stay empowered, stay compassionate, and keep growing.